All right, so this single stem kitchen faucet is loosey-goosey, flopping around. You go to turn it on, it just swivels, real pain in the butt. We got to tighten that up, and yeah, it's a bit of a pain, especially with the limited amount of space that you have when you go underneath, because it's behind the sink and the back wall. So let's figure out how to fix that. Alright, so let's go underneath, take a look at it. Probably a good idea if you get a soft towel, cloth, pillow, and put it on the edge of the cabinet, because that can cut into your back when you go underneath. Get yourself a good light, and so let's go underneath, take a look. Let's see what we got going on. Okay. So look at that. We got that nut right there against the washer. And what we're going to do, there's two different ways. We can use a basin wrench, which is a hook that just hooks onto that nut. And sometimes it works okay, sometimes it doesn't. And then we have a tool that slides right over the threaded fitting, but we have to remove this. So which means we have to turn the water off. So that's the turn the water off way, and then there's the non-turn the water off way, going all the way up and getting the nut. So let's try the clawfoot basin wrench way first. Now, as you're doing this, it's a good idea to have a helper to hold this in the right position when you tighten the nut, because as you're underneath the sink and you're tightening it, it's going to be moving around. And if you're by yourself like me, you're probably going to have to tighten it a bit, just kind of snug, move it, and then tighten it again, come back out, check it, and so on. So if you have someone to help you, it'll make a big difference. And okay, so here's the basin wrench. Okay, and let me just hook this here so I can show you with both hands. So basically this can do righty-tighty and lefty-loosey, depending on which way you flip this. Okay, now you can flip this around, and if you wanted to unloosen it, you do it that way, right? And then if you want to tighten it, you want to do that way. Okay, say my finger's the nut, so you want to do that and grab it and tighten it. You can actually feel it tighten and pull. So that's a basin wrench. And then let's take a look at the tube wrench. All right, look at this. All right, this comes usually with a faucet when you buy it, and it's a kit. And basically you slide this over the threaded pipe underneath the fixture, and you tighten it. You do, but basically you should be able to grip it with your hand tight enough to just turn it. So I'm going to show you the basin wrench. Now this is not an end-all be-all. Sometimes this is really hard because the other two feed hoses are in the way, and I'll show you now. All right, and get this in the righty-tighty section. It's not the easiest thing to get back here. Alright, so what we're going to do is get that on the nut. Actually, probably a good idea to just spin that tight with your hand first. Okay, and then you can get that on there so you can get a good grip. Now you see, you can barely turn this because of the feed hoses. Well, I'm grabbing the very edge, right? And let's see. Okay. And it looks like, yeah, we're getting some tightening action there. So we're going to go up. And we're going to check the faucet. And yeah, it's firm. It's kind of tight. I'm gonna just turn it a little bit more. Now the pressure is basically on the handle when you move it. And if it's snug enough, you're really not putting too much pressure where you're gonna loosen it up that easy when you did the crowfoot, the snug thing. But I'm gonna show you the other way with this. And this is a way to get it a lot tighter. So what we're gonna have to do first is shut the water off, and hopefully you have valves that work pretty good. Now these are quarter turn valves. I had these installed just to make life easier, they're ball valves. So look at that, quarter turn, quarter turn. Now the water's off. Okay, and then we're going to open up the faucet and just make sure there's no pressure. Okay, so water is off. Now it suggests getting a towel and just making sure that nothing underneath here can get wet. Sensitive stuff. Okay. All right, so here we go. Now you can try turning this with your hand, and as you see, it is not super duper wally super tight. All right, so basically we're going to have to slide the tightening tool over the hose, okay? But first we're going to have to disconnect the feed right here. So basically you push this in, push on the button, and boom, right? Off. Okay, the next thing to do is have a screwdriver, and we're gonna have to either pull this clip. Actually, no, you can do it with your hand. Let me turn the camera around so you can see. Okay, there's a little clip in here that you can pull, right? And it releases the weight. And we're gonna take the weight off. Okay, we're going to slide the nut off, and then we're going to take the tool, right? And we're gonna slide the tool into the hose, okay? And then I'm gonna reposition the camera right now. And then we're gonna slide this all the way up and make sure you can get your hand in there, right? And now we're gonna put it right over the nut, and then we can take it and we can turn it tight. There we go. And get the kung fu grip, turn really tight. But if you don't have a basin wrench, this is the next best thing. This cost about $8 on Amazon, and the basin wrench cost about maybe 25 bucks. Okay, so now we're going to put this back together. Now remember, we have to put, let me get this here. We have to put this nut back on. Okay, plastic nut, and it's going to be facing up. So we're going to slide that over. Okay. We're going to run that all the way up and tighten it. It doesn't have to be super duper wally uber tight. And then we're going to put the weight on, which is usually marked right by that yellow area, and that just keeps the spout going down into the fixed position. So let's put this up here again. Okay. I'm going to slide this up. Okay. Get that nice and firm. Okay. All right, and then we're going to turn this a bit so you can see better. And we're going to reconnect the line. Okay, let's stick that in. hear that snap, pull on it, make sure it's nice and snug. Tug, that's funny. Okay. I'm going to take the camera off so you can get really close so you can see this fitting. Okay. So when I pulled it out, I pressed this black button right there, pushed up on the hose to release it and pull it out. Okay. And then we're going to put the weight back on. And I'm going to explain the basic principle before I do that. All right, this hose goes to the spout right here. Okay, as you see, it's hanging down because there's no weight pulling it up. All right, so basically you have the hot and cold lines coming into the fixture here, and then this regulates how much hot and cold go into the hose that runs to the sprayer or the faucet itself. Okay, and so as you get the feed lines coming in hot and cold here, it gets directed to the main line, which is what we put this hose over. Okay, and then out to the sprayer. So now we're going to, let's see if we can hook this on. And basically there should be a marking where you put the weight. You don't want it to put too high, too low. If there is no marking before you take it off, put a piece of tape. Okay. And then you click it on, and we are all set. Okay, and then let's go back. Check this out, nice and tight. Very firm now, yeah. Okay, then we're gonna put our supply lines on. Hot and cold. All right. And we're gonna check it out. Look at that. Yep. Stream. Straight. Whatever. And the superpower button. Or vice versa. Alright, so there you go. I hope this helped you out. And let me know what you think in the comments if it did help you out. And I got links to the tools I used in the description. And hopefully this helped you out. I'll see you in the next video. I appreciate it if you hit the like. Alright, take care.